Hey guys, and welcome to today's tutorial on another one of my favorite page styles. Okay, so let's just start with the tutorial for today. And the first step we always need to do for any of those page styles is to cut and score our cardstock as well as our pattern papers. And for the measurements, you can refer to the cutting guides and templates which are available in my Etsy store for different album sizes. And when I cut my cardstock and pattern paper, I always like to label all the elements I have cut. So this is just an example on how to use your cutting guides for cutting and scoring your cardstock and pattern papers. And then after scoring, you can go ahead and do the next step. So the next step for this page style is to attach tape right next to the scoring lines. So we have already scored our cardstock and now we can take our 3/8 of an inch tape. So at least that's what I like to use. And you just want to make sure that you place it on this little flap we have created with scoring. And you just place it right next to the scoring lines without actually covering the scoring lines. And after attaching our tape, we want to cut off the corners of the little flaps we created with scoring. So for this, I like to turn around my cardstock and then I get my small scissors and I just cut at an angle right next to the scoring lines. And just make sure that you don't accidentally cut into the scoring lines, but just next to them. Once you have cut off the corners, you can go ahead and actually fold up the little flaps we created. And for this, turn around your cardstock because you don't want to fold it up on the side where you scored it or where you placed the tape on. So we want to fold it on the back side. And then I also like to get my bone folder and burnish it down. After our cardstock elements are prepared, we can continue by adding our cardstock elements A onto the basic page. And when attaching cardstock to the basic page, I always like to just remove half of the tape backing and then I use the non-sticky side to align my cardstock with the edge of the basic page. And then for the second cardstock element A, I make sure that it's perfectly aligned with the first cardstock element A as well. So again, I remove half of the tape backing and use the non-sticky side to bring it in the correct position. Then for the next step, you would need cardstock element B, and for cardstock element B, you can actually choose which shape you want to use. So as you can see, I just used this scalloped framed circle, which I cut out by using a die cut, and then I also covered it with some pattern paper in the same color. Now we need our pattern paper for the basic page, but we don't want to attach the pattern paper onto our basic page yet, but we just lay it onto our basic page. So make sure that you align it so that there's an even border around the pattern paper, but don't stick it down yet. But instead you want to also lay your cardstock element B onto your pattern paper for the basic page. So make sure that you find the right position and then you can just go ahead and use your pencil to mark the hole so that you know where you would place your eyelet. And then we need our eyelet setting tool, and I like to use the Ria Memory Keepers Big Bite for this. Make sure that your tool is in the right settings, and then you can go ahead and punch a hole onto the pattern paper for the basic page. And then you would need to get a small eyelet which you would place into cardstock element B, and then also into the pattern paper for the basic page. So you actually want to attach cardstock element B to the pattern paper for the basic page by using this eyelet. So again, make sure that your eyelet setting tool is in the right settings, and then you can go ahead and set the eyelet. And what I like to do then is I turn around the pattern paper for the basic page, and I just cover the back of the eyelet by using a piece of tape, because the eyelet can be very sharp and I don't want to rip it onto the basic page. So now we are ready to actually attach the pattern paper for the basic page onto the basic page. So I again get my wet glue and I use it for attaching. And then after attaching the pattern paper for the basic page, we of course can also cover our cardstock element A with the pattern paper A as well. And for attaching pattern paper, I always prefer using wet glue instead of tape, because when using wet glue, you're still able to move around your pattern paper and find the right position. And that's what the finished page style number 41 looks like. And I think it's a very fun page style with a swing feature, and you can actually use anything for this swing feature, as I said before. So I had used different shapes, but I've also used wood embellishments as well as chipboard embellishments. And then with this page style, you are able to include 6x6 inch photos for the 8x8 inch mini album size. And as you can see here, I would also prefer to use a very large photo in between, so on the basic page in the size 6x8 inches. So yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed today's tutorial. And if you did so, I would love to get your feedback in the comment box down below. And of course, it would also mean a lot to me if you could give this video a like, a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. So I hope that you are having a great day, and I would love to see you in my next video.